Every generation believes its financial crisis is the worst the world has ever seen. But history has a way of humbling us, reminding us that the forces driving markets, wealth, and human behavior rarely change. The crash of 1929, the Black Monday collapse of 1987, the Great Recession of 2008, and the global shutdown shock of 2020, these four events were separated by decades, caused by different triggers, and shaped by different technologies. Yet one truth runs through all of them. While millions panicked, a small group survived, grew, and even built generational wealth. And it wasn't luck. It was a pattern, an untold pattern that repeats every time the world breaks down. When markets fall, the world is divided into two kinds of people, those who react emotionally and those who act strategically. Over and over again, history shows that fear destroys wealth faster than any crash, while discipline and preparation quietly build fortunes behind the scenes. In 1929, when the stock market lost nearly 90% of its value, most people believed the financial world had ended permanently. But a handful of individuals who shifted to cash, held real assets, and understood long-term cycles emerged stronger than before. Their secret wasn't predicting the future. It was understanding that wealth doesn't disappear during a crisis, it simply changes hands. In 1987, the same psychological pattern repeated. The largest single-day percentage drop in Wall Street history hit the world like a shockwave. Every screen flashed red. Panic selling became a chain reaction. But again, the ones who followed the same quiet principles, liquidity, patience, and strategic positioning, were the ones who not only survived but grew while everyone else was frozen. They didn't let noise dictate their decisions. They followed a mindset prepared long before the crisis happened. Then came 2008, the collapse that exposed the fragility of modern finance. Banks crumbled, housing markets imploded, millions lost jobs. It felt like the world had walked into a financial black hole. But the ones who stayed calm, protected their downside, held strong assets, and kept long-term vision found themselves standing on the other side with opportunities no one could imagine during the chaos. History rewarded those who didn't confuse temporary pain with permanent loss. And in 2020, the world witnessed something unprecedented, a global shutdown. Economies froze, markets crashed in weeks, and fear became universal. Yet once again, the untold wealth pattern reappeared. People who held cash when the panic began, people who didn't sell in fear, people who understood that volatility is not an enemy but a signal. These were the ones who turned the crisis into one of the greatest wealth-building moments of this century. Because while the world stopped, opportunity did not. It simply changed shape. So what is this pattern that has survived every crash? It is not a strategy written on paper. It is a mindset carved through discipline. It is the ability to stay liquid when others are over-leveraged, to stay calm when others are emotional, and to stay focused when the world is distracted. Wealth is not built in bull markets, it is positioned in crises. It is in moments when everything seems to be falling apart that the foundation of future success is quietly laid. Look closely at every survivor of financial history, and you will see the same principles repeat. They defend their capital first, because you cannot play the next round if you lose everything in the current one. They hold assets that preserve value, whether it's cash when markets are overheated or gold when uncertainty rises. They study cycles, not headlines. They avoid crowd panic because the crowd has never built generational wealth. They invest not when the world is comfortable, but when the world is uncomfortable, and that is exactly why they win. The greatest mistake people make is believing that crises are rare. They are not. They are cycles. They come, they shake the world, they reset the system, and they reward those who prepared. Crashes don't break the wealthy, they break the unprepared. Every era has had a crisis. Every era has had panic. And every era has had a small group who understood that resilience is more valuable than returns. That mindset is more important than timing, and that patience is more powerful than fear. When you study 1929, 1987, 2008, and 2020, you learn something important. Financial storms don't destroy wealth, they expose it. They expose who was swimming with no strategy, no backup, no risk management. And they expose who was positioned with wisdom, discipline, and a long-term perspective. Real wealth isn't about making money fast. It's about surviving long enough to let compounding do its work. Every crisis brings the same opportunities, disguised under panic. Prices drop, fear rises, liquidity disappears. And in that moment, the world quietly transfers assets from emotional hands to disciplined hands. That is the untold wealth pattern. It is not glamorous, it is not exciting. It is slow, steady, and often lonely. But it has survived every financial disaster of the last century, and it will survive the next one too. If you want to follow this pattern, you must train your mind before the next crisis arrives. Build your emergency cash. Reduce your unnecessary risk. Diversify your assets. Learn to stay still when others rush. Develop the courage to hold when others sell. Learn to buy when others fear. Prepare your strategy in calm times so you don't have to improvise in chaos. If history has taught us anything, it is that the world does not reward panic, it rewards preparation. The real lesson isn't about 1929, 1987, 2008, or 2020. The real lesson is that uncertainty is permanent, but so is opportunity. Fear is temporary, but so is every crisis. And those who master their emotions master their financial destiny. So the next time the world shakes, remember, markets may fall, headlines may scream, fear may spread, but the pattern that survived every crash still exists. Follow it with discipline, protect your capital, stay patient, and trust that history rewards those who prepare. Crises do not decide your future. Your mindset does. This is the untold wealth pattern, and it has been waiting for you to follow it.